Hi, Room 301. This is Mrs. Dawes. I miss seeing all of your faces. I hope that you are all well. Mrs. Julie and I are so proud of the ways that you are rising to the occasion of distance learning. You did great work last week. When we were thinking about Reader's Workshop and your work for this week, we really wished that we could call you to the rug and give you a lesson on what you're going to be doing. So I decided to call you to my PowerPoint presentation instead. Hopefully, seeing some examples of what you're going to do will help you do the same thing this week. So here's your teaching point. This is what you're doing. In order to organize research, readers reflect on their big idea, on their topic, and review their research to determine 3 subtopics that support their big idea. So you're going to be looking back at your research and your topic, and you're going to organize your thoughts into 3 subtopics. Remember, writers often organize their work into a big idea and 3 subtopics. This is not going to be new for you, I hope. In your work last year, if you were at Richmond Street, you did something really similar when you did your Native American research. Remember, we researched all about Native Americans in California, and then you did some research on one topic about Native American lives, and then you narrowed that down into 3 subtopics. So maybe you talked about food, and your 3 subtopics were how it was cooked, what they ate, where they got their food. Maybe you talked about shelter, and you talked about the types of shelter for 3 different tribes. There were so many different ways you could organize your writing. In the same way, you're going to be doing this with your colonial American research. And there are lots of ways that you can organize your research into 3 subtopics. When you think about your subtopics, ask yourself, what are 3 ideas or reasons that all support my main idea? Your reasons need to be broad enough to write a whole paragraph, but narrow enough that they fit as a supporting point for your main idea. Let me show you some examples of what I mean. Maybe going through some work together, you'll have a better idea of how your subtopics could be created. So I took an example of schools. That's the topic. That's one of the topics that I have modeled several times in our colonial American research. So if my topic sentence was, as colonies started growing, they developed schools, which were different than schools today. I wrote a list of a lot of ideas from my research that all have to do with how schools are different, were different in colonial America. So let's look at my list together. In some cases, only boys went to school. Many children did not go to school. Schools in some colonies were based on religion. Children learned Latin. Memorizing was very important. Discipline was different. So if this is my list and I'm trying to come up with 3 ideas, I all want them to have about the same weight to them. I all want them to be about the same size. Some of these seem kind of small, and some of them seem like they could be combined. Let's look at them. Let's look at the first 2. In some cases, only boys went to school. Well, I could write a couple sentences about that, a couple sentences about why. But my second reason, many children did not go to school, that kind of goes with number 1. Number 1's almost like part of that second idea. So I could make that into one subtopic and talk about who went to school. My second topic, schools in some colonies were based on religion. That seems like about the same size as the topic of who went to school. And I could write a paragraph about that. I could talk about different colonies that had schools based on religion. Let's look at my last 3. Children learned Latin. Memorizing was very important, and discipline was different. Children learned Latin is a pretty small idea. Memorizing was very important is another small idea. And discipline is a little bit bigger, but I'm wondering if I could put all three of them together to have another idea that's about the same size as my first two. And I could say that the way children learned was different in many ways. And I could write a paragraph about that. So here's what my subtopics might look like. Not all children went to school. Religion played a role in many schools. And the way students learned was very different. So in my first paragraph, I'm going to talk about who went to school. In my second paragraph, I'm going to talk about religion in schools. And in my third paragraph, I'm going to talk about the way that schools were structured and what they learned. I want to show you the same topic idea, organized a little bit differently. So if I'm still talking about schools, and I still have, as the colony started growing, they developed schools, which were different than schools today. I noticed when I looked back at my notes that I wrote about New England colony schools, middle colony schools, and then southern colony schools in my notes, because that's how the author of my main text organized things. So when I looked at my notes, I realized it would be very easy for me to organize my subtopics into the ways that each colonial region had different schools. So I could do that. I could have a paragraph about the New England colony schools, middle colony schools, and southern colony schools. Same topic, same big topic sentence, but I could have those different subtopics. It's just a matter of what I want to do. Okay, let's look at a different topic entirely. So I chose the New England economy. Remember, we did some research on this together and we practiced taking notes in this. I used the topic idea, the resources of the New England colony helped their economy grow and develop. I hope I said that right, but you can see it on the screen. So here's 5 ideas that have to do with this main idea. Fishing and lumber were major resources. Whaling was important. New England became an exporter of cod. That's fish. New England exported lumber. They hunted whales because they provided lamp oil. I want you to pretend you have a partner and turn and talk to your partner. What are the ways you could break these up or keep them and combine them? Play around with these 5 to turn them into 3 solid subtopics. Take a look and see what you think. You can pause the video if you want to read them, and then when you're ready, press play. Okay, so here's what I did. I broke it out into 3 subtopics. The abundance of fish helped their economy. They exported lumber from their forests, and whales from the ocean became a big resource. So these are kind of my starter subtopics, but really I broke it into fish, lumber, and whales. I don't know if that's the same thought that you had, but all of those have they feel like about an equal size of something I can talk about, and I can make a paragraph about each one, and they all support my big idea that the resources of the area helped create the New England economy. Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about your subtopics. Your subtopics could also be reasons. So maybe your topic is about an event, and you could talk about 3 reasons why it occurred. Maybe your topic is about a relationship between groups of people or different colonies, and you could talk about 3 situations or events or problems. So it all depends on your topic, what your subtopics are going to look like. If you have questions or you need guidance, you can reach out to Mrs. Dooley and we can reply. We're going to be spending the beginning of the week letting you create your subtopics, and we're going to look at those and give you any feedback that we can to help you have some good subtopics. And then you're going to put those in your Google Doc and we're going to look at it. And then on your Google Doc, the next step after that is that you're going to organize all the research you've done into subtopics. That way you can see if you need a little bit more research on one of your subtopics, and you can go do that. Okay, so that's your task for the week, is to come up with your subtopics and kind of organize and look at your research. Good luck, readers. Thinking of you.